All right. So how are we doing today? It's Friday, almost weekend. Doing good? Drinks yesterday? Who attended? Who didn't? Looks like everybody attended. Yeah? All your sad faces. Hope you have enough water. Okay. Let's get it started. So to be honest, I feel super weird with this microphone. Like, I'm used to always go and move. So if you don't hear me, please signal so I can stand still and you can still hear me, okay? I think last time I used this microphone when it was like in university when I was doing my diploma, you know? Very serious. All right, hello and welcome. A few words about myself before we get started. My name is Ksenia. I'm based in Amsterdam and I flew all the way from Netherlands. Super excited to be here, second time in a row on stage, and I still remember the very first Sylius conference in Poland, which was organized in Łódź. I hope I pronounced this name of the city correctly. That was like such an amazing way of meeting all of the people that now we get to meet every year. I'm senior product manager. I'm responsible for developer experience. I have a development background as well. And a few personal facts. For those who attended my talk last year, you probably know all of these points. But one change happened. So last time I talked about my Uber rating. I was so proud. I had 4.98. Okay, you see? You see what happened? Yeah, it dropped. Guys, it dropped. I promise I didn't become a worse person, okay? I'm still nice. I blame the algorithm, but here we are. I want to be honest with my audience. Here we go. This is my current Uber rating. So today I want to talk about scoping. I want to talk about iterating, and I want this talk to be addressed to everybody who build, whether you're a developer, whether you're working on an e-commerce website, you're working maybe on your own project, you're building SaaS, or maybe you're a product owner. Maybe you're from agency and you're doing some operation there as well. So I will try to make sure that it fits all of the use cases because quite a few techniques, they're universal. And just a disclaimer right away, everything that I'm going to talk about, it's based on my experience, right? So I'm sure that everybody in this room will be like, oh, but there is this and that, and you can also do so many amazing things. I only have 30 minutes, and I thought that I would just summarize it and share with you everything what I know and what I learned, sometimes in a hard way. All right. I'm sure everybody's familiar with this feeling when you are like having too many feature requests, all your priorities get lost, you stuck firefighting bugs, and you're like, okay, all my launches getting delayed, my customer, if I'm working for my customer for my e-commerce website, they are frustrated, and you're using all of these sprints or development cycles, all of this like traditional project management that quite often fails. And again, it doesn't even matter if you have a product owner. All of us, like the majority of us, even do it without any support from project manager, and we just have to deal with all the priorities and scoping on our own as engineers. So we're not going to talk today about working harder, just a disclaimer. We're just going to talk about what's possible to do, how possible to simplify and minimize the pain of all of the scoping and ship the value to the customer fast. And I based my talk on many principles. So I'm a big fan of the Marty Keegan. He's a product visionary, so I used a lot from him. I used quite a few things from the Asana techniques, from the Teresatorus on continuous development, and so you'll hear more about some feature flags and so on and so forth. And also I used quite a few principles from the shape-up methodology. So it's kind of a mix of everything, but that's something that I tried on my own and bringing to you, making sure so you don't waste your time on trying all of these principles. All right. So I put together the most common setbacks that I faced in my career. So I'm in technology already for 12 years. Sounds a lot. Yeah, but look at me. I'm not that old, right? And I can tell that for me, the most painful ones were, actually for both, for me, and now because I have engineering team, for engineering team as well, the most painful ones were, first of all, when you're overcommitting to features. So that's something that's really, really happening to everybody, to every engineer, I'm sure to everybody in this room as well, when you're just like, okay, I want to improve, I'm adding here, I'm adding there, then there is another request coming up, and you just keep adding stuff, and sometimes, of course, scope creeps coming out of nowhere, and that's something that I was struggling a lot in the past as well. Another thing, it's resistance to change. You know, when you're getting new insights from the market, and you're like, okay, now I have these new things to take into considerations, it's quite hard to change your project direction. Quite hard. Even though you have full idea that, hey, this is what customer wants, that's what going to bring the majority of the benefits. If you set it up already, if you got your technical setup, if you have like framework and all of this, sometimes it's hard even technically, but that's something that you have to learn how to do. Or maybe to avoid changing that and considering all of this inside from the very beginning. And I would say missing early validation and assumptions. So it's building on the assumptions about user needs, which quite often also leads to priorities that are not actually should be in place there. I don't know if you can see everything, and I don't know if you can do anything with the lightning here. Is it okay, visible for you, or yeah, it's fine? All right. So feel free to take pictures. It's just very fun to look at this and just like have this, walk through with your teams or on your own later on. But we'll try to talk about how we can avoid these setbacks instead of dealing with these setbacks afterwards. So my entire presentation will be split in two parts. First, we're going to talk about principles. So principles, these are guiding rules for every builder. And again, you can be product owner, you can be developer, engineer. I truly believe that everybody should follow them and have in mind for the maximum efficiency. And second part is going to be about the techniques. So techniques, it's more about specific practical methods or maybe tools that let you put these principles in motion, okay? So they're literally making sure that supporting your principles that we're going to talk in a second. All right, first one, and I can tell that usually for developers, and it's like, why should I talk about the product? Why should I have this product mindset? Why should I even think about it? I'm here to build things, just, leave me alone, like let me execute, let me build the most amazing website, and so on and so forth. But the power of it's when you actually, everybody share this ownership of the product outcome, not only, let's say, customer, maybe business owner, maybe agency or product owner, or you may name all of these roles, right? The power sits when you have this shared responsibility between product owners, designers, and everybody co-own outcome. Another point here, that not only product owner should actually care about their continuous discovery and validation. So in my practice, and I can talk about myself, and now when I have like bigger team, engineering team, engineers come with so many amazing ideas and insight that sometimes can be missed. So I like to think about engineers, not only executors who build code, but actually those who also drive the product further. And again, we can talk about some complex, highly customized e-commerce store. We can talk about different projects. We can talk about any SaaS solution maybe that you're building as a part of your agency. Or if you're a customer, you also might be building some product. And then on the right, I'm also showing you a sweet spot between the desirability, feasibility, and viability. So it's literally answering the questions about, okay, what's the unique value here? So do people actually need it? Like, if I'm going to redo my entire checkout, like, is it actually needed? Does it make sense for them? Then it's about viability. So you're like, okay, what has to be true to make this to work? So again, it's like how you going to, let's say, pay for that. Feasibility. Okay, does this work? Is it even possible, like functionally, right? Is it even technically possible? So you can actually prioritize all of your assumptions before jumping into building by creating this long list of questions related to all of this: desirability, feasibility, viability. And again, at first it might look like, oh, why would I even bother? I'm a developer, I'm good where I am. But that saves you so much time and trouble going further. So doing it right now, spending 1 hour of your time on this, will help you to make better decisions further. And I'm talking about both like technical and also pragmatic business decisions, because we all work for our customers. All right, another guiding principle: focus on outcomes over output. And I know that we live in society, in the industry, when everybody is like not charge, but like give us compensation per hour, and the amount of tasks that we completed, and amount of, lines of code that we delivered. But you should really think about the actual impact or result that product delivers for the business, for the customer, for the business owner, all right? So basically, outcomes here, it's value delivered. Output, it's all of these lines of code that you created, so it's work done. And this helps you to ship the right features. It again helps you to scope. It again helps you to prioritize better, because you don't think in the categories, I have hundreds of tasks that I have to deliver. You're thinking, okay, I have to solve this issue and that issue. Maybe it's performance, maybe it's, cart abandonment, maybe it's something else. You know better. But that approach helps you to be more efficient, because you prioritize the value that you're going to deliver rather than tasks to be completed. All right, let's go further. This comes from the Shape Up, and I adopted it right away, to be honest, and I think it's super easy to work with. So before you code, always shape the work. So it's defining the clear problem, defining the boundaries of the problem, defining what's the pitch there. So it's not really even like a spec, but making sure that from raw idea, you move to the scopes which mapped. So to give you an example, instead of building a full checkout, let's say you decide to go, okay, I'm going to simplify maybe guest checkout to reduce the cart abandonment, and then you spend 1-2 days on the shaping it, what it means, and then you commit and deliver that, all right? So you don't jump into this building phase right away, because as engineers, we always tend to go into solution mode right away. And that's something that you have to kind of like, a little bit like postpone, a little bit like give yourself a time to shape what exactly you're solving here. All right. Now let's talk about appetite. So if you have an idea and you start building, if you start building it without appetite, you're allowing unlimited time and unlimited resources for idea without realizing it, okay? So think about it as a time budget. You don't think, how much time do I need to build it? You think, how much time I'm ready to spend on this, okay? It's shifting the mindset. Because otherwise, if you have unlimited time for that and you're saying, okay, probably it will take 6 months, then it doesn't take 6 months, it takes 8 months, and then you just keep postponing the launch, you build any feature that sounds good, you spend any money, time on it, and but when you start with the appetite, you're kind of scrutinizing the idea from the get-go. So think about again with a time budget. Do this before you design anything, and before you write any code or buy domain. I remember I presented this talk once, and then somebody on LinkedIn told me like, okay, that's what I learned, that I don't need to buy a domain. I was like, okay, that's good that you learned this. I'm happy, at least one good outcome. And so again, just to iterate, how much time I'm ready to spend on this? What tools will I need to use? Is this even feasible? And what parts of building this will most likely slow me down. Think about it as shifting your entire approach. And again, I know that it might sound a little bit tough when you look into this, but just give it a try. Give it a try. And then you'll see that you're shipping things way, way, way faster because of the cutting the scope and cutting the time. So to sum up it, the flexible scope allows you to make those decisions by letting you remove any tasks or any features that might get in your way of finishing within this appetite. So fixed time, variable scope. And yeah, there will be some trade-offs. So I can tell you from my experience, sometimes I'm like, okay, we need to build this, let's say, request logs feature. We have so many ideas. It's like so many requests from the customers, so many requests from the internal teams. And then you literally cut the scope unless it doesn't make sense building this feature at all. So you deliver MVP and then you iterate. But with this approach, you ship it. You get it out of the door. All right, that was about the guiding principles. Now let's talk about techniques. Again, techniques, it's just like tools that set in motion and help you out to also follow your guiding principles. All right, rapid prototyping. You know, I put here days when I was, oh my God, this thing, oh wait. I don't know. I'm gonna fix it, right? We're on the technical conference. So I put days for the low 5 prototyping, but now the industry evolves so fast and we have so many tools to do this prototyping even faster without writing even line of code. So I started using it and doing some rapid prototyping, even like using AI. Not only HTML, CSS like it was, let's say, a year ago when I'm just no backend, but you just put some prototype in there, low quality, but then you can actually mock exactly what you want to do, mock maybe the checkout flow, maybe mock, I don't know, whatever you're building. But now it's, yeah, so many things accessible. So you can do all of this rapid prototyping in hours, not even days. So I personally use V0, I use, no, actually like Claude, but I use like, yeah, I use tons of things that help me do this and then like make sure that I have this idea presented before I start actually building it. So that means that when you're doing this, it helps you to have this speed over polish. So you don't need to present right away the solution, but you have like showcase your customer, hey, this is how it's going to look. This is what we have in mind. This is the flow, and it's all going to be workable, functioning, without you even putting any effort into their backend. Then you also can collect some qualitative evidence. I think it became louder, right? After the drop. I don't know what happened. Okay. And then you can also formulate the clear hypothesis here. I don't know, let's say a more compact, intuitive checkout will increase conversion by 10%. And then you prototype it, you test it, you show it to your customer, here you go. So it's like, it's a golden now to use this in the e-commerce before full build. You prototype fast, just check it out. Another technique is a 6-week cycle. So we have 2 streams here. I think you don't see the red, but that's fine. So there are 2 streams here. So out of cycle and in cycle. Let me show. I recommend using 6 weeks for that, but depends on how big your developer team, or maybe you're alone building things. It can also become 2 weeks. The major idea that you separate 2 streams. You separate the out of cycle, which is like shaping, we talked about it already, shaping your idea, then choosing what you have to go first. It means it's called betting here. And then in cycle, you only build. And the major idea here that once you start your building phase, your cycle, you only build the bet, the feature, the website, I don't know, whatever you're building again, and you're not picking up anything else. So think about it as an ultimate focus for this 2 weeks or 6 weeks. It's all adjustable. Why it helps? Because like I'm seeing it so, like we're always being distracted. We're always picking up new tasks. We're always like so reactive onto all the things that are happening. There's always this colleague who will come to you and say, hey, by the way, can you help me fix this and that? Oh, but yeah, and also that and that and that. And then you just never get stuff done. So here, what I'm saying, it's not even about their cycles in terms of like timing, but about protecting your time and protecting your building cycle towards only taking care of the things that you shaped. Then after this, you always have cool down, and it can be like 1 week, and it can be 2 weeks. But when you have a cool down, you can take care of all of this like backlog. So it's like time to breathe for you. You can also maybe have some nice to have things to deliver, whatever whatever also in your technical debt. Hopefully you don't have much. Or any maybe task that your colleagues coming to you and saying, hey, by the way, can you help me with this and that? All right? So it's all about having this focus on the build phase instead of being scattered across multiple projects. And again, I fully get that for you it might be like, hey, but I have like 7 customers and then I have so many projects. Well, the idea here is to scope better what you have to focus on and avoid being carried away. All right. T-shirt size tasks. That's one of my favorite, by the way. So what if I told you that T-shirt sizes weren't just for clothing, but it's amazing capacity planning tool. So I use it a lot with my team at Mollie. And it's super easy to use. It's super easy to adopt, but it gives amazing results in the understanding what the effort required for building this or that feature. So think about it that you have tasks. They might be small, medium, large. You can also introduce extra large. And then you break your project into the bytes. Like, okay, for instance, for a quick tweak, you put a label that it's small, you put it as S. For something bigger, it's medium. For big rebuild or maybe complete revamp of the project, you have large. Why it's amazing? Because everybody has a common understanding of the sizes, all of us. All of us have understanding of what is small, what is medium, what is large. Of course, you can argue that, no, but it might be different. Yes, but we all have common knowledge about this. So that's the beauty of this. And then you can actually agree with your team on this complexity, on the scope, on the effort, on the work hours, on the time estimate that you need to deliver this. So you start by deciding there on the sizes. You align on what each size represent. You decide also who align all of this like T-shirt sizes. You assign them to all the projects, all the initiatives that you have. You track it. And basically, that's your tool to manage your workload. That's it. You don't need much. I have an example for you, so it doesn't sound that only like shorts here. This is literally from my product from Mollie. Nothing to hide here. So you can see that I put together steps, what's required for us to build. It was we were building webhooks. I put together the description as well, and I put together all the initiatives. So the entire step, it also has, of course, a T-shirt size. So you can see that, for instance, for some things, it's like medium. But I also broke it down in smaller pieces when everybody on my team, they aligned on that. So we all understand that, okay, for instance, probably initial setup of development environment, it's like medium. It's not excess. We all understand how much time needed for that. But set up a new repository, like, it's definitely a small task. You can do it pretty fast. Design the architecture, well, that's medium. Somebody would say probably it's large, but also, like, in the bigger things, in the bigger view of things, you can all agree that, okay, that's medium. And we were just following all of this. Like, for me, to put it all in there, it didn't take, like, lots of time at all. It was like, I don't know, like 40 minutes of time to go through the entire project and build and just put it, and then discuss it with the team and see like if you're all aligned on their feasibility of this. Okay, feel free to take pictures if you want. All right. Now let's talk about the continuous development. So Continuous deployment, sorry. Continuous, hello. Oh, you know, they're welcome to join, they won't. I have a confession to make. I do love feature flags. How many of you use it? How many of you use feature flags in your... Okay. Very nice. We have a few people. Good. Then I will share a little bit more about this. So basically, you ship code to production as soon as it's ready. Sometimes you ship it daily without any manual gates.
Right.
So you build a feature, you wrap it in the flag, you test incrementally, meaning that you roll out, let's say, to the 5% of the traffic. Or maybe you roll out to 15% of the traffic, depends on all the risks, security, and what you're trying to achieve with this, right? And then you see, okay, this is what's happening, this is a behavior, you're measuring all the metrics, and they're like, okay, now I just want to roll back. It's literally 1 click, okay, 2 clicks, but you know what I mean. Or you probably can iterate and make it better, or maybe you can go and scale it further. So this allows you to just continuously deploy and improve on everything that you're working on. So my key idea here that in web development, this accelerates the delivery while minimizing the risk, because you don't really want to break things. Do it frequently with low-risk releases, and then you're gonna get evolve your web store if you're building it, like say with Sylius, you're building it, and you can do this in real time. So I can say also I use it a lot. I truly believe in it. Of course, you have to be mindful about how many feature flags you have running simultaneously, and yeah, don't go crazy here. But yeah, happy to talk about this as well if somebody is interested after. All right, and last technique that I want to cover is premortem. So this one I got from the Teresa Torres and her book, Continuous Discovery Habits. So we all understand that we have different teams. Somebody is working with 2 developers. Somebody has maybe 6 developers. And not every team has possibility to do security assessment, risk assessments, what's going to do if I'm going to have this technical build. So we don't have resources for that, right? But what you can do, you can just sit together for 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, and just use all of your overthinking in the good direction, overthink everything what can go wrong. So run this premortem, run this I don't know, for instance, what can go wrong with this setup? Maybe my database will be overloaded. Maybe, I don't know, there will be some issues with queuing, maybe something go wrong with the load balancer. So this actually helps a lot to think about things and identify these risks before you go live. So you don't need to fix it in production then, right? Because you think about all many things. And again, I fully get that probably not all of us have this time to do some proper analysis. But this exercise, which will cost you 40 minutes, will definitely bring your, let's say, risk level to the low possible. So I highly recommend to do this. And even some stuff with the UX testing and performance and page speed load and all of this. All right. We are wrapping up here, and probably you're now, okay, you talked a lot, but what about this, when you're ready? What about the, general availability slide? There is none, because I don't believe your project can be ready, 100% ready. So I truly believe that GA, it's continuous improvement. So whatever you ship, I'm sure customer will come to you and say, oh, by the way, we need this and that iteration. So whenever you're ready, whenever you have from probably 70 to 80% project ready, just ship it. Because, the key thing is to get whatever you're building in front of as many eyes as possible, so you can, again, build on top and iterate. That's it. Thank you so much. I was really struggling to stand still. I don't know if you can tell, but yeah. I don't know if you have time for any questions or if you do questions here. But yeah, I'm open. And yeah, don't be shy. Oh, yeah. And by the way, we have, in the conference area, we have a table with a lot of amazing merchandise. So come talk to our team. We have Helga, we have Benjamin, talk to them. We have water bottles, we have hoodies, okay? It's like winter's coming. So come talk to us, ask any questions you have, and yeah. Okay, now, I don't know, do we stop here or anybody? Okay, you go. Hey.
I have a question regarding the multiple feature flag that you're using. I'm curious to understand better how do you sort of embed feature in your workflow. Whenever you have one feature flag that makes the calculate, you have multiple feature flags that you can have the sum of a lot of years.
Yeah, that's a very good question, especially about compatibility, because sometimes one team can roll out something that is not compatible with the other team. So my golden rule here is always have limitations of the amount of the feature flag that you're rolling out. You do need to keep control on that. You can't just let everybody on your dev team oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because most of the time, and from my experience, we have all different projects. We're all busy. We don't communicate to each other what that customer wants, and then something else, I would say that's the first rule. And for the quality assurance, well, it's all about, I think, testing afterwards, right? Oh my God, this microphone's killing me. How you gather data and how you actually work with this data that you're getting after the results of the feature flags, if it makes sense. Yeah? Okay, yeah. Thank you. No, good questions. I love feature flags. And also, I like you raise the hand when said you're also using it. All right, if there are no questions, thank you so much for your time. We are here for today. If you want to chat to me, again, my name is Ksenia, and I'm happy to talk to you all the things shipping. Thank you.